That's his sacred cow. She's perfect. Don't dare talk about her. No. No.
Moo ah, moo ah. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I have two, oh gosh. What is my, wow. Okay. Okay. This is what I want. Here we go. There we go. Dun, da, da. Hello, all you keep the lights on level people. Your name should be scrolling down below. And we'll do the big supporters and the SOS exclusives later. Actually, I should make sure that my alarm is going to go off because I may have turned it off. Oh, no, we were here last week. It shouldn't be turned off, but we'll double check because, things happen. It should go off at 8. It's set. Look at that. Look at all of these reminders for all my classes tomorrow. What did we do before iPhone reminders? What did I do? Look what came in the mail today. All right. Came late, but I have the audio version as well. So earlier today, with the SOS exclusive level, we listened to Christine read chapters 4 through 8, I think. Yeah, 4 through 8 we listened to. Because 1 through 3 are kind of just background information, and we wanted to jump in and get to the good stuff. And we did have some good stuff. So what I'm going to do tonight is just talk to you about some of the good stuff that we read in chapters 4 through 8. And any SOS exclusives that didn't make it, I understand we did it in the middle of the day, but it's because the book arrived today. Actually, it didn't arrive until 6:30. So, but the audio version was ready today, and I wanted to go through it and read it prior to this evening. And then I think what we'll do next Tuesday is we'll do another hunk of it and discuss that too, about everything that she says. I don't think we'll get through the second half of it because I think we'll do like the second third, and then the week after that do the last third. And then we will go, whoa, no, we won't. We'll be very close to Sister Wives starting. We might have 1 week in there. I don't know. I have to look at the calendar. But there may be 1 week in there where we will do the next episode in season 3, which I think we're in right now, for going back and doing the rewatches. So we'll check that. Also, don't forget, I don't have the book here right now. Actually, I think it's in my closet because this room was my daughter and my son-in-law's room for the past 4 to 5 days. So it's all cleaned up. I really feel off-center though. Okay. Revenge. Anyone who's interested in any Meghan Markle, Harry drama, we're reading the book Revenge. It's something. Boy, is it something. Lots of dirt being spilled in there, and we are at the good part right now because she has met Harry and she has hooked Harry. Did we read the proposal? I feel like now that I'm reading the book, there's a lot of YouTube content creator stuff that I'm watching as well, and I'm getting very confused on what I have read and what I have seen online. Not to mention the author has many interviews out there as well, both from prior to releasing the book, after releasing the book, and just in general. He's just also, from London and following the family, and who knows what book he's going to write next. He doesn't do just royalty. I know he did a Beckham book as well, but nevertheless, he's still following the family, so he's still out there. So my head is mush. All right, so I did read through the first 3 chapters myself, and nothing really jumped out at me. Now, again, I just got it at 6:30, so I shouldn't say I read through it. I guess it's reading through it. I listened to it. So I don't have anything marked here to talk about, but I do have notes in my phone that I will use to guide me and talk about stuff today. It starts with a good one, too. I'm going to say hi to some people here, and then we are going to jump right in. Oh, right up the top here, Shannon Banana. It's been 9 months. I'm so happy I made so many new friends. You guys make me smile. It is a great community, the sister friend community. Indeed. Okay, let me scroll back. There's like 170 comments. That's okay. I'm just going to say hi to a few people and we're going to get going. Some people from the top here. Just a small town girl says the chapters are so short. Yeah, they are. They are, except chapter 8, it took her, like, most of the chapters you can read in like 10 minutes, but chapter 8 was at least triple that. That was a long one because her reading was like 35 minutes long of that chapter. I haven't looked at the rest of them, but based on the fact that there's a huge number of chapters and we're through a third of the book already by chapter 8, I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of short ones, which is fine, especially if she has like just great little stories and they don't really fit in anywhere else. Make it a chapter. Do share, Christine. Do share. Thank you for sharing, Christine. We appreciate it. Okay, Lynn Skinner, thank you for moderating and being here. As always, love you. Pookie, down under. So many of you are down under. Throw in that Australian flag if you're down under as well. All right, Joni, good to see you again. Saw you earlier. Kathy, good to see you. Jane, Angela, let's see here. Michelle, Sarah, a few more. We have Elizabeth and Stacy. Good to see all you sister friends. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Hello, Liz. Hello, DJ Tag. I'll just do a couple more. Bouquets by Karen. Hello. And number 3, hitting the like button. Thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button. Anybody else? If you feel so compelled, if you're at all interested in this channel or Christine or anything I have to say, just hit the like button. Costs you nothing. I appreciate it too. I really do. Really, really do. Yes, mine was due by 5. It actually didn't come till 6:30, of course, but I got it now. Okay, I'm going to get going here. Hi, Mama Squirrel. And start talking. Amy, good to see you again. Some of the things. Now, at the very beginning, hi, Cindy. At the very beginning, there's something that really struck me that we didn't talk about when we were doing the live read today because it was in one of the earlier chapters. But early on, something that Christine said, which I thought was a direct dig to Robyn. You let me know if you think the same thing when you read it, or if you didn't read it, just by listening to this, if you think the same thing. Okay. Oh, thanks, Shanna Banana. You're the greatest. Okay, so Christine says, all right, let me give you a little background because I just have like sort of like a quote written here. Christina is talking about the family and the family growing up. And she was also saying that in this particular part, it was when she was growing up. And she really had a beautiful way of describing her family growing up. And we can talk about that too, if you've read it and you want to talk about it. But I really I kind of grew to appreciate her family a little bit. I don't want to say, oh, I'm all into polygamy now, but it was sort of a nice way of like the whole family working together. There were only two moms. That's better. So that got more time with dad. The kids were all very much siblings. And she said it was just a house full of a lot of laughter and playing and joking around, and very much Andy Griffith type situation that she grew up in. Just sort of the idyllic, perfect environment, which is why it was so shocking to her when her mom, Annie, decided to leave her dad and leave the church as well. Christine was devastated, but we'll talk about that as well later. But one of the things she said when she was talking about family, she was saying that, they'd run around and they play outside. They would do this, that, the other. And, they, a lot of barbs at each other and jokes. And she said, that's what happens in big families. You get picked on. Oh, that's what happened. Oh, she also talked about if she would be too much of a princess, that her brothers just wouldn't have it. And I don't remember the exact quote, but after talking about how they would give her a hard time and then she would just sort of brush herself off and get up and keep going, she said, that's what happens in big families. When you get picked on, you get picked on. I'm so sorry. I got up at 2:30 this morning. I haven't been back to sleep since. So this might be an hour and a half tonight instead of 2. That's what happens in big families. You get picked on when you act like a baby. I thought it was a direct dig at Robyn's kids when they first came into the family. Not a direct dig. I take that back. An indirect dig. Maybe possibly a passive-aggressive nod to Robyn's kids, because they did get picked on every now and then. We saw it on the show. Nothing horrible that probably every kid in America hasn't gone through. But I'm guessing Robyn shelters her kids so much in life that they didn't know how to handle a simple joke. And certainly if they got picked on. And I love it when it says you get picked on when you act like a baby, because that was the other part of it, right? They were saying that, or she was saying in the show, or all the kids were saying in the show, oh, my brain, I apologize. The kids were all saying in the show how they're easy targets, Robyn's kids, because they're such babies. So it's easy to pick on them. And even if you're not picking on them for being a baby, even if you just like say something else, they will become a baby. And then, the eye roll goes on. So I don't know. I just felt like, wow, right off the bat, that was, I don't know, first chapter or second chapter when she said that. But okay. My bed. I'm using Mr. Yuck poison control stickers as my bookmark. Not on purpose, but maybe fitting. Yeah. Yes, because it is interesting, some of the things we are going to cover today. So she, I don't want to say there's been like amazing sensational stuff, because to me, that's going to be financial secrets. That to me is going to be the dun dun dun, if there's any of that. And there hasn't been anything so far. But through chapter 8, really, we just get to the point of Robyn being introduced into the family. All right. So if any of you read that, if you got moved that way, let me know. Yeah, it did look like DJ Tag. Her kids were going to break down any minute. It was like, I don't want to say bipolar, but feast and famine is not the appropriate words either. But it was one extreme or the other. It was like a 180. Those kids were either like running around like a bunch of banshees and screaming and smiling and trying to jump on everyone's laps, or it was the end of the world. For Aurora, it looked like an emotional end of the world where she was like a puppy dog over the tiniest little thing. I remember she was so devastated when the dog died, and she barely knew the dog. That's what killed me. She was more sad than some of the kids that had been living with the dog the entire time. And Robyn, kicked the dog. So clearly she wasn't nurturing a relationship between her kids and the dog. Nevertheless. All right. That was Mary's dog, which I'm assuming is the dog she kicked. I wonder if Mary knows that Robyn kicked her dog. Huh. Okay. Elizabeth, you didn't get your book today. They said it was mailed out. Oh, it was cheaper than Amazon. Well, that's what you get. I had to have it today to talk to all of you, so I went via Amazon. But good on you for saving money. I'm all about it. You know that. Gwen tried to eat her cereal. Was that Gwen? That was Isabel, I think, right? Am I thinking about the time in Robyn's house when Robyn's like, hey, it's a snack, not a meal. My sister picking on me made me tougher. Well, and that's what Robyn goes on to say later in the book when she's talking about her kids. Well, and by her kids, I mean OG-13. She says that, like, the kids were tough. They played together, they played hard, and they became tough kids. But they didn't become tough internally. Like, you know what I mean? In a good way. They weren't hardened, is what I'm saying. They're all beautiful kids with big hearts and big souls, and they're lovely. But yeah, they can hang with anybody, and they can go out and ride horses and climb rocks and fall down and hurt themselves and live. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Sochitel. Hi, Sochitel. The chat is going crazy. It's impossible to read the comments. How are you all? Yeah, there's a bunch. There's a lot. We're hundreds of comments now, which is great. I think you can probably scroll back and see them too. Also, if you want them chronologically, because YouTube tends to put the ones up at the top and sort them based on how high an interest they think you're going to have towards it, which may make it difficult to follow and understand. So it always defaults to top chat at the top of the chat thing. At the very top, there's a word that says top and has a little caret next to it. Click on the caret and change it to live. Live is chronological. You'll read the comments as they come along in time, as it should be with all of them. I don't know why top chat's a thing. That should be an option. If you like top chat, it should just default to live chat, in my opinion. All right. Oh my goodness, Joni, your Amazon didn't even come today. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's not right. You have got to be kidding me. You got your copy last Thursday? How did you get it last Thursday when today was the release date? And it was 50% off. Good on you. Funny Blumper. Was that Blumper? Let me see. Giz Funny Blumper. That's a funny name. Okay. So let's start talking about some other stuff that happened in here. Okay. Now, again, I didn't get through all of it. We're just going to read. We're just discussing chapters up to chapter 8 here today. Rizzy's not having it. You don't kick my fur baby. That's for sure. If I saw her kick my cats. All right. So let me know if you hear the clicking on the fan. I have it on the lowest setting, but my daughter slept in this room and she doesn't like irregular sounds. Like she can have a noise sound if it's consistent, but if it goes she can't do it. Her husband's like, it's fine. I could use the fan. Oh, goodness. Speaking of which, I have a photo to show you guys. My daughter gave me a gift. Let me see if I can zoom it a little bit. This is the gift she gave me. It says, a visit to Grandma's house. Uh-huh. Guess who's going to be a grandma? Yes, I am. My daughter is pregnant. And she's already 12 weeks along. She wanted to tell us in person. I only have 6 months before I'm a grandma. Crazy! Yeah, I don't know what that means for my life 6 months from now, but we'll hang in there and have laptop, will travel. I can always stream wherever I go. So it's very exciting. I'm excited for her and her husband. And of course, my husband and I are thrilled to be a grandma. And I think I am going to use the name for Grandma and Grandpa that one of you recommended. And I can't remember who it was, but it was a while ago. And we were talking about Grandma and Grandpa names on this channel. And I wanted something unique. Like I knew somebody whose grandma was Grandma Buttons and somebody, I just didn't want standard grandma. And I didn't want to do the Oma, Opa thing because we're kind of German, but not really. It's a few generations down and it's only on my side of the family. Plus, I don't speak German if they were to call me that in public. So somebody recommended Pop for Grandpa. And I'm like, oh, okay, we could do that because I don't think anyone else is going to be Pop. And then I would be Lolly. So I think I'm going to be Lolly. And together we make Lollipop. Isn't that the cutest? So I think I'm going to be Grandma Lolly. And they could just call me Lolly too. Yep. And Gigi, Cindy. Well, Gigi's going to be my mom because she's great grandma. So she's going to be Gigi. And then I'll be Lolly. Isn't that exciting? Okay, I'm sorry. I know, Cindy. I just think it's so cute. She does like it. She's like, and I'm like, do you like it? And then finally, as we were talking about different names, she goes, well, it's really up to, well, yeah, this is my name. But she does like it. Yes, she does. All right. All right. Back to the book. Let me look here at more notes that I have. Oh, Mom, that's cute. Grandma Lolly. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, Maureen. All right. I am jumping to chapter 4 because I didn't really have any other notes until chapter 4, which is why we didn't start reading live today until chapter 4. This was another Robyn dig, I do believe, that Christine gave us. Thank you very much, Christine. She was talking about the courting with Kody, as we pretty much read in the Sister Wives book. But she said that 3 years she knew Kody before she married him. I will say the beauty of this book is that Christine actually gives timelines, time frames, and dates. I love it. I love it. It's still a little bit here or there because we'll change to other subjects and go back someplace else, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm loving that there's lots of dates. She said 3 years she knew Kody. She met him when she was 18. She married him when she was 21. And she said that during the whole dating, all they did was talk on the phone. Occasionally they got together in person, but their whole courtship was, she said, exactly the same as what their friendship was before. But this is what I found interesting. Christine said that when they were friends for 3 years, she would call him every now and then and they would talk anyway, or he would call her. I don't know who initiated it. Maybe they both did. But don't you find that odd? Do you think that after you got married, within the first couple years of your marriage, it bothered you a little bit that your husband was talking with a girl who's a friend on the phone just because? I think that would have bothered me. I do. I do declare. I think the claws would have come out. But apparently, Mary and Janelle were okay with it because that's what happened. And so then her courtship, which was only 3 months, was just like her dating. And then she married him. But she said that she never really dated him because, quote, in polygamy, you can't date a married man because he's married. End quote. Robyn Brown. In case you're watching. It would be a hoot if she watched this channel. Oh my word. Okay. And so then it goes on, and it was really kind of sad. And it was sad in the My Sister Wives book, The Courtship with Christine. But she talks a little bit more about it. She doesn't share a whole bunch more than she did in the My Sister Wives book. Well, she does share one thing. We'll get to that. But she did say that when it came to him proposing to her, that she first said, I basically proposed to him because they were friends. And as friends, she went up to him and said, hey, I think that if I ever got married in this faith, that you would be the one I'd want to marry. So she put herself out there, and she was, and that basically was the proposal, because from that point on, he just went and asked for permission from her father, who was over the moon because he loved Kody. He regretted that later on. We saw that when she got married to David. But he said yes, gave his approval, and then for 3 months they quote unquote courted. And he never officially proposed, but one day shortly after that, when she was at her house and he was over there and he was in the living room and her siblings were all around in that, he said, quote, I guess I should ask you if you would marry me. That was his proposal. So I guess I should ask if you would marry me. Out of obligation and tradition, because I don't want to, but I guess I should. Basically where we are. And then she throws in, be still my heart. A little bit sarcastic, but I think it was also a little bit of showing where she was mentally at the time. Her expectations for Kody were very, very low, and he met those expectations. He surpassed them. He actually ended up going lower and made her cry a couple times, including on her honeymoon. We can get to that now. Oh, he's just gross. Yes, he is. Yes, he is, Kathy. Okay. Okay, but Karen says, Jenny, you need to do a poll on whether or not Robyn was virtuous while being quoted by. Okay. I have a feeling I know where it's going to go, but I'll do it. I know what I think, but I will keep my opinion to myself. If you're watching the channel, you already know what I think, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get in here to the back office and put a poll up. We can talk about that too, because Christine does talk about her being virtuous and pure. She really takes all the onus of responsibility for it. In fact, says that she feels like he wasn't that attracted to her because she was so pure and pious and chaste, that she felt like she was just like pushing him away. I don't know. All right, so poll time. Did Kody and Robyn remain pure until their marriage? Marriage. Poll is up. You can go ahead and start responding. Okay. How romantic. I know. He's just something. He really is. He just knows how to make a woman feel special. Oh, wait, he makes her feel very special. I've got more to tell ya. Oh, did it drop at midnight? I couldn't have watched it at midnight anyway. I could have started listening to it at 2:30 in the morning, though. He counted her as a number. That's right, Kathy. She was number 3. He wanted 3 wives, minimum of 3 wives to get, like, you know, the special crown in heaven with the emeralds and rubies on it or something. I don't know. Bottom of the barrel. Yes, he is. Sickening. Well said. I saw a comment from Earl's Girl that said the book was a lie. I never saw Earl's Girl. The book was a lie, and everyone commented back, okay, Robyn. I don't think Earl's Girl's ever been on this channel. Another one of our Aussie friends, Cindy from Oz. Okay. I don't think we need a poll, not to Venuses. It'll be fun to see. We're all dying to hit the not virtuous option. Oh, it's funny. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. It gets even better. All right. I guess I should ask you if you want to be my wife. Okay. It goes on to say that Christine got married in her dad's living room. I kind of feel like I heard that before, but I don't know if I remember reading that in the book. So talking about her wedding being not a big deal, wife number 3, and the fact that Kody was so busy. Meanwhile, he had no kids. He had 2 wives who were working. I mean, what's he busy doing? So busy. He didn't have a chance to chime in. He said he didn't have an opinion and that she should just go ahead and do whatever she wanted for the wedding. And for the reception, same. He wasn't planning anything. She should do it all. Now, he was in charge of the honeymoon because that's tradition in the faith. But he said, do what you want to do. I'm too busy to plan anything. That was for the wedding and the reception. So she did end up going on a riverboat cruise kind of thing for her reception. So that's better than the hall that Mary had. I feel like Mary's was in a, like a church gymnasium that was converted, which is fine. But I just feel like the riverboat thing, Christine, that may have been a step up. So she should pat herself on the back that she just went ahead and planned that and said, I think I'll do a dinner cruise. Okay. And then they get married, and we're going to talk about that too, but jumping ahead and then we'll go back. They get married, and Christine turns to him later on and says, what are we going to do for the honeymoon? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Look, whatever you want to do. She's like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, I've been so busy. I haven't planned anything. And she was devastated. Understandably. Understandably. And he also told her he didn't have time to plan a honeymoon. What was this man doing? I don't understand. He never had to cook. He never had to clean. He got all his needs met. He worked. That's it. That's it. So what? So he worked 50 hours a week or 60. So do I. So there you go. And let me tell you, I do way more than you. I do all the cooking. I do all the cleaning. I do all the planning. I do all the Christmas shopping. I do all the organizing. I do all the books. I do all the finances. I do it all. And I still have time to play Mahjong before I go to bed at night online, which is really just a matching game. I got to stop telling people that I do that because my husband the other day said, "Oh, you really do know Mahjong, huh?" I'm like, no. There's lots of rules and it's way more complicated. I really just match tiles, but it's fun. Okay. So now let's go back for a second. Oh no, I don't have notes on it because this goes right to the honeymoon in my notes. So, but let me say, I'm too busy planning anything. Okay, so that the wedding, I swear I wrote it down. I'm gonna find it later in an odd spot that it's not supposed to be in. When she got married at her house, oh no, here it is. Yeah, it's up here. Okay. And she got married in her dad's living room, right? First of all, Christine uses the line, Kody had a 1,000-yard stare. No joke. No joke. Christine used the line, Kody had a 1,000-yard stare. I'm like, come on, Christine. He has said it so many times. We are so over that line. Do not take his line. Just say he was looking off. He didn't seem present in the moment. Like, you don't. Disappointed in that line. Wasn't largely disappointed in what I've read so far. I will say that. I'm enjoying the book. Disappointed in that line. And inconsistencies I found already in the first 8 chapters. So we'll get to that as well. Okay. So it's time. Her grandpa married them in her dad's living room. And then it's time for him to kiss the bride. You may now kiss your bride. Christine said she had butterflies in her stomach. She was giddy. She was excited. This is like the moment. Kody gave her a quick little peck on the lips. That's it. Been engaged for 3 months. No touching, hand holding, nothing. She wanted to be as pure, as white as the whitest snow at the top of the mountain. And clearly, he didn't care. Maybe that's why he went on those steroids. Maybe he needs a little tea pills in there as well. I don't know. Allegedly. I'm wondering. Possibly. So he gives her this little peck, and her grandpa actually comes out and says, well, that's the shortest kiss I've ever seen at a wedding. To make a bad situation worse. So, I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed for Christine. But the point is, I'm glad he called out Kody. Like, Kody, she's your wife now, Kody. He didn't quite get it. Okay, now we get to the honeymoon. Okay, so he had no honeymoon planned. And Christine comes right out and says, when she first wrote this book, she then skipped to the end of the honeymoon. And some of her friends, including some that were currently in polygamy, read it and said, oh, no, you have to talk about your honeymoon night. What are friends for? Thank you, friends. I don't know who you are, but you are sister friends because we want all the deets and the gory details. And here's the gory details. Christine goes on to say that the intimacy they had was painful and sad. Those are the 2 adjectives she chose. Yeah. Painful and sad. Oh. She said, no foreplay. No hand holding, no flirting, not even earlier on, like at the reception or anything, like nothing. The man came in with his little itty bitty dingling, done her, and walked away. Just like I said. Do you remember? It wasn't that long ago. When we were talking about what could he be like in bed, and I said, the man is just a jackhammer. Done. Out of there. Proof. Christine's words. We're right. I'm going to get a jackhammer emoji to add to everyone who's a member that they can use in the future. Yes, indeedy. He's terrible in bed. And she was so excited, not only because it was the first time for her and that she felt like she was in love with him, but also because she felt like, well, this is an experienced man. So this is going to be great. Shocking. No, not shocking. Shocking that she told us. Kody definitely took Christine's purity in an evil, gross way. Heartless. Yes. Yes, Noni. Yes. Ugh. Yes. What a disappointment. He's gross. To shift her in. Not to be uber gross, but that's exactly what she said he did. Boom, boom. Not even a jackhammer. It's probably a jackhammer that was charged, but it's on a low battery. You know how it just kind of goes. That was probably it, because he probably needed 3 pumps and he was done. Performative. There he is. Yes. Woody Woodpecker. Yes. Another good example. Can you believe it? 2 pump jump. Who would have guessed Kody is a selfish person? All about Kody. Not at all. Like, we have seen example after example after example of this man putting himself before everyone else, and this man not understanding somebody else, like not attempting to look at it from somebody else's perspective, but even when told he should, he doesn't get it. Here's a classic example. And that's what we were talking about before. Do you think he's good in bed? No, because he doesn't think of other people. Now, earlier when we were reading this, somebody said he probably is much better with Robyn. Like, that is a possibility because Robyn probably told him, this is what you will do. So he probably did. Eventually, but that's 15 years later. How good did he get in between there? I don't know. Or maybe he just saved the 2 pump chump for Christine because he just wasn't that into her. I don't know. Yeah, to him, procreation, not recreation. That's right. And she says in the book that their faith specifically believes that sex is not reserved for just procreation, which many of the faiths do believe, that that's the only time you do it is when you're trying to have another baby. And other than that, it's not for pleasure. But they didn't believe that in their faith. They believed it was for pleasure. So talk about an extra disappointment. Like, she was expecting a good time. He did get her pregnant 8 times. Yeah. I mean, even a sawed-off gun can shoot bullets. So there you go. Yes. Listening to it all. I wonder how Robyn feels about that after her nonsensical sermon about her purity being stomped on by her ex-husband. It's a very good question. That's a very good question. That whole topic is just crazy. Now that we know that Kody had sex in college, as he calls it, who knows when it was. Could have been mission, could have been college. He may have been college age, and so he called it college. You never really know because he doesn't speak the truth ever. And he sat there next to her, letting her profess and cry in the couch interview about the mistakes she's made in life and how important it was to share that with everybody. And Kody sitting there smugly watching her when she was doing it. And she knew, as did Mary. They knew Kody did as well. There's no accountability for that man. It's no wonder he is the way he is. How would you let him get away with that? Either he speaks up too, or I say nothing. That's how it would go. I mean, I know I have children here that are older than when my wedding was. But, we'll talk about that when they get older. When they're teenagers and they ask about it and they figure it out. I'll be like, oh, you know what? I made a mistake. But this whole sermon on it in front of everybody and for everyone in the world to see, crazy. It's crazy. That is crazy. And the fact that it was not addressed in the tell-all. What did you think about having to give your purity speech, knowing that Kody did the exact same thing? The exact same thing. Maybe worse. According to her, it was the first time. I mean, who knows if that's true. But nevertheless, he said it was an ongoing relationship. So he's saying multiple times for me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. That's off topic, I know, but just thinking about it makes me want to puke. Ugh. Okay. He coughed at her 8 times. Yeah, we're just going to say that Christine and Janelle are just fertile myrtles. Not that he's anything great. Yeah, okay, well, let's get to the next part then. And no hand holding. Okay, this is how he described it. Okay. It's hard for me to even say this out loud. So the act, getting back to the jackhammer example, she said that he was so aggressive with her, again, with 0 foreplay, that she was too sore for the rest of the honeymoon to even try it again. He had to have just, aggressive is not even the word. It had to have just been horrible. That's all I can say. It had to have been horrible. Oh yeah. Well, that's another thing, Rizzy. Because how can it be enjoyable when you're expected to wear your long johns? Well, Christine talks about this, and she's talking about the garments that they had to wear. Now, the garments that they have to wear are different from the garments that the LDS church wears. She said hers, they go down to your wrists and your ankles, like you're wearing full-on garments. Now, you're supposed to be wearing these all the time. If you go swimming, you're supposed to wear a wetsuit so that you can wear your garments underneath the wetsuit, which she said was ridiculous. If you want to go to the public pool, you're supposed to wear a wetsuit. It's crazy, really. And she said that they were supposed to be kept on during sex as well. But Kody sometimes asked her to wear them, but not always. So she said, Well, if it was a religious thing for him, he would have just said, you need to wear them all the time. So clearly it was just a matter of there were times he just didn't want to see her. And so he's like, keep the garments on. But she referred to it also. Wait, let me see if I can find it, because I do believe it wasn't in this chapter. It was later on. So she was talking about wearing her garments. Let me find the garments. Oh, yeah, here it is. She said that you get garment wedgies during sex. Now we know what garment wedgies are. Like, if I would just heard the term garment wedgies, I would think, oh, okay, I suppose. I thought the garments went over your underwear, though. Did they go under? I thought you still wore bra and underwear. Maybe somebody who's LDS can let me know. Because I thought, although they function kind of like underwear, I didn't think they were the only underwear you wore. But nevertheless, garment wedgies are now a thing. We have a new phrase. We have garment wedgies. Garment wedgies. Perish the thought. I bet that's not a stretchy material. I bet it's like one of those silky cottons that don't like really stretch at all that you have to wear. I think of that anyway. I might be wrong. Never saw them myself. But I picture them to be like the little slips that I would wear when I was a little girl that like didn't have much give when you wore them. That's how I picture them. Could be wrong. Okay. Kody put no effort into their wedding night. So true. That's a nice point. I'm glad she has David now to rid that horror out of her mind. Yes. And she has David now. Now we're understanding why she's such a freak about intimacy with him. Although she does say orgasm did happen. Okay. So it was when? Here we go. No, wait. Oh, yeah. She said about 2 years. 2 years into their marriage, she had her first orgasm. And it was entirely accidental. Which I find very funny. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I mean, except that he didn't do anything special to see to it that it happened. I could see that. But I'm very curious how it became an accident that it happened. What? Too much information, TMI. I get it. I understand why she didn't go on. And it was probably brave of her to even say, and it was entirely accidental. Anyway, and then she moves on to the next sentence. Pretty funny. But here's an even better thing. So she says it's 2 years into their marriage before she has her first orgasm, but she also goes on to say it was 4 years into their marriage until Kody told her that he loved her. 4 years. And as opposed to it being something that she was all thrilled and excited about, it actually made her really sad because it made her realize, oh, you've never said that to me before. Interesting. I've loved you this whole time. You love me now? 4 years, and at this point, probably 4 kids into their marriage. That's sad. Yeah, with 0 foreplay, it is no bueno. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Not Davina says, you can tell by his dancing he's awful and selfish. Yes. And I mean, that just goes the whole jackhammer thing and the way he dances. It's the same thing. Yeah, that same analogy once before too. Whoo, 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 just like whipping her around, completely unaware if you're going to break her arm or knock her shoulder out of socket. Choo, 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 as he's worried about what he looks like, as people are watching him, thinking he looks good doing this dancing. That's the great and funny part about it all. But yeah, he doesn't have any respect. It's not a something you do together with Kody when you pair dance with him. You are like a yo-yo or some sort of toy that he's sort of just playing around with. Not a human, and certainly not a wife or somebody he loves and cares for. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Happy for Christine now, though. Yeah. Because he's super gross. Yep. Mm-hmm. Lynn said they almost sound Muslim. I don't know, but I don't know anything about that faith. Here we go. Must be 8 o'clock. You know what, Evie? I was going to go there. Evie, you're back with us. I thought you went to bed. What time is it where you are? I was thinking that when I was reading it. Like, I don't want to come right out and just say, like, it just seems like the R word to me. But, oh, is that what you guys were saying with grape? I saw the word grape. There's always so many conversations going on, so I kind of flipped by. So maybe that's what we were saying with grape. Yeah. Grapes. It's what it is. I mean, how else do you explain it? She cried afterwards. I mean, she agreed to it because she expected something different, but terrible. Ugh. I thought about that too, Mom Squirrel. She was she was the girliest of them all. And that was just not his vibe. Yeah, Nadine. He was just mean, thoughtless, ignorant, and wanted to assert his authority right from the beginning. He didn't care that he hurt them. And that is so true. It is so sad. Did he wear his garments too? Probably not. Probably not. And the times that he told her to put them on, I'm sure he didn't. Mm-hmm. She should have said, it's okay. I don't need your 2-minute pump and dump anyway. She should have. And I mean, if it's that miserable, just imagine. She had to have dreaded every third day when he came over. You know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Prairie poop plague in the human form. That's what he is. Mm-hmm. Well, she did say that she does things that other people won't do. I don't think there's much that Christine doesn't do with David. And I do believe and do declare that Janelle's a freak on the sheets. I don't think there's much she won't do either. And Mary would say no to nothing because she's just so desperate back then to have him and to be in good graces with him. So what would it be that Robyn does that the other women won't do? That could be it. That's why I draw my line. It's not happening. So it's possible because I think he might enjoy that. Turn around, let me imagine. Oh, the bra goes on top of the garments. Okay. How about underpants? Are there any panties involved or do you not wear any? Maybe not because the whole bathroom situation. Ew, I don't know if I like that. Okay, let me switch the banners here. Oh, I got to click this first. Copy and paste. And these people are our big supporters, which are Barbara D. Jack, Leslie Reddick, April S., Alwyn the Mini Chef, Mary, Liz S., J. Shanty 3, Linda W., Carla Colson, Aaliyah, Crafty Florida Lady, Shaniqua Smith, Lynn Skinner, and Knit My Bit, as well as our exclusive SOS supporters. Linda Merman, Lisa Gasca, Black Swan Gothica, Holly Jones, Joni C615, Anonymous, Sharon, Echo Gilman, Christine Werhope, Joni C, Lean, Libby Sure, Birdie K, Living an Eclectic Life, Cindy, I forgot to look it up again. Gregora, we're going to say. Gregora. Anyway, Laura McWilliams, Dee Dee, Steamfrog 99, Julie Hornberger, J. Lou, Jennifer Harmon, Carol Annie D, Marie Lingham, Evie, Steph Stevens, Stacy G, Karen Perk, Vanessa, Shotzi's Piece, Tammy G, Marsha Cooper, Diane Almeida, Farron, Kendra MP, That's My Shoe, Amy D, I'm Your Huckleberry, Libby Sure, Lindsay B, G Kitty 52, Lisa, Sochitel Amarillo, Tracy's Fractured History and More, Alexandria Swan, Shanna Banana, Rain Lady, Cheryl Smith, Sarah Lewis, Marie Crabb, Waldo's Mom, Lisa F., Danny Towns, Ms. Lita, Ladybird's Mom, Donna Redmond, Jessica Denham, Kaylin, and Alyssa 1704. Thank you, everybody who are members of the channel. I appreciate it. Back to the craziness of chapters 1 through 8. Okay, accidental. Does anyone know what accidental means? Do you think that maybe she just kind of turned a different way once and then thought, what the heck is happening? And then went, whoa, that must be what people are talking about. Or she didn't say that it was with Kody. She said it was 2 years into their marriage before she had an orgasm. She could have accidentally stumbled upon it when scratching an itch. It's very possible Kody may not have been involved at all. He could possibly have not even been in the room. So, oh, goodness. So glad she has a good man who loves her. Yes. 2 years. Oh. There's a good one. Possibly she sat on the washing machine. That could happen too. Yes. Yeah, whatever he's working with, it's better than Kody. It's for sure. She's very happy right now. Very happy. And he's going to come out now and say how unsatisfied he was with the rest of the wives, and he didn't know how great sex could be, how wonderful orgasms could be until he met Robyn. He's going to try to one-up her. He's not going to let this lie. He's not going to let her throw out there he's not good in bed. No. I mean, she did him a service by not mentioning whether he was present or not 2 years into their marriage when things started to get a little bit better for her anyway. Yep. Just mark my words. We are going to hear him talk about how it was just difficult to perform. Still no excuse for no foreplay. You can still do foreplay if you're not like that into it. It is what it is. I mean, we've all been there. On a late night and you're tired. But you can pull it together and make it happen. Yeah. He could have. So he has no excuse, but he's going to. He's going to say that, he wasn't attracted to them early on, and especially Christine. Now, nobody else has made these comments about him yet. In fact, Janelle has kind of come out and said everything was great in that department with us. So she's off the table in terms of that regard. So it's Christine. So he's going to come at Christine and say how, she was too fat. She reminded him of a pig the way she ate. He was not attracted to her. She was loud. Yeah. I mean, she was also cute and bubbly and had a fantastic personality and a superior mom and all that. But, those aren't the kind of things he's attracted to. Okay, so let's move on. We have garment wedgies. Christine did throw a dig at Kody. She said that after she got married, first, prior to being married, she was very excited about marrying him because he was just like this maverick and doer and the man who accomplished things. And she found that very attractive, as many women do. I did too. I remember thinking that my husband, I'm like, wow, he's like wise beyond his years. It's nice to have somebody who's like wise beyond their years that I can go to and consult with when I have questions and whatnot. And he could do things. He could fix things that I can't fix and have no interest in fixing either and never learned how to. So that kind of stuff. But she added, she found out that after she got married to Kody, this great philosopher, pontificator, theologian, everything that he would claim to be himself, she said, I found out that Kody was not an independent thinker after our marriage. He relied on his wives to do all the thinking, which we've said all along, didn't we? Haven't we been saying that from jump? That he's not making any decisions. He gets nothing done. The man gets nothing accomplished in life. He says he's going to do this. He says he's going to do that. He doesn't do any of it. I don't know what he does. We don't see him doing anything but cutting trees down and taking bark off of them and driving. I mean, honestly, what else has he done? He eats, but we don't see him eating alone. So those are conversations. So the other wives are a part of that. Independently, in terms of work, that's all we've ever seen him do is cut trees, cut off bark, drive cars. Unless he's doing something with the wives that the wives need done. It's really kind of crazy. And now she's co-signing it here. She's saying, yep, he's not an independent thinker. In fact, she made a comment about him not being so smart at one point. I didn't think I wrote that down. I may have been on my early morning walk at that time when I was listening to it, because I didn't start taking notes while I was walking at first. And I thought, there's too much information here. I need to start writing things down. I'll never remember, which is true. Okay. Here's where we start to get into a little bit of timelines. And then here is one of the contradictions that was very confusing to me and to us when we were reading it earlier. In chapter 7, she first says 2 months. I have most written here. I just was in a hurry. Months, that should say. 2 months after marriage, Logan was born. Okay, so this is just timeline information, which is nice to have. I just like it when she was just throwing out specifics. So 2 months after their marriage, Logan was born. She was over the moon with Logan being born. Loved it. Treated him like her own son. And she just thought he was the greatest thing. And she said that was the beginning of the greatest loves in her life because she wasn't getting it from Kody. But she just had this love for these kids that was unparalleled. Okay. She does say that Kody was wonderful in all his births. Although she also said that, well, it seems like all her midwives had almost no experience. One had none, I think. So one of the last ones had only had 10 deliveries, which I thought 10 deliveries was pretty good based on what she was talking about with the other midwives that she had. But on that one, which I believe was Isabel, she turned to Kody and told him, I need you to be present with me and not talking to the midwife. Now, what husband has to be told, don't speak to the other woman in the room while I am giving birth to your child? Who needs to be told or reminded that? Kody Brown. That's who. So, how great is he when he's in there? If clearly his pattern is, I'm going to ignore you and start talking to. We saw it with even Robyn, his precious Robyn. He was trying to impress the midwife there and talk to her and jokes and giving baby names and asking her opinion. And I'm like, if my husband would have started a conversation with my doctor about what do you think about this, and the two of them would be going back and forth, I don't think I'd like it. I really don't, especially not when you're in labor. Like everything is extra sensitive and heightened. That's crazy. Okay. So that's a truth, non-truth that she said. He's great in there, but then later on goes on to say, I had to tell him and remind him, you need to be paying attention to me, not the midwife. All right, contradiction. There we go. But here's a bigger one. She said, wait. Oh, maybe it's the next chapter. Okay, before we get there, let me just say this. When she gave birth, she was still not talking to Annie, her mom. She had cut off Annie altogether. Oh, this is the one thing I didn't write down. When she cut off Annie, okay, so Annie, Christine's not even married yet, right? I want to say she was 17-ish, 16, something like that, when Annie left the family. When Annie left the family, Christine struggled. She didn't understand it. Annie had been 100% supportive of the faith and her dad this whole time. Christine saw a happy, wonderful marriage between the two of them. Annie hid it all from everybody, which I think somebody pointed this out in the chat earlier today. Most moms would. You always try to protect your kids. You're not going to be fighting in front of your kids. You don't want them to think that you don't want them to feel anything, any residual anything if there's any angst going on. So, but apparently Annie did a very good job, to the point that Christine is just flabbergasted at the point that she left. And what Christine ended up doing, reactionary to Annie's move, her checkmate, maybe, I don't know, was, since Annie was leaving the church and Christine was like, okay, the church that you told me my whole life, this is what we believe in, that this is what I should believe too. Christine's reaction to that was to get stronger in her faith, to move closer to the church. And then she moved in with her dad as well. So she's like, okay, then I cut you off, and to justify that, to help me understand and make sense of this, I'm going to move even closer to the thing you told me that I should. I'm back. It was buffering. I hope you could hear me. Did you hear what I was saying when my picture was gone? Jenny's frozen. Yeah, let me know if you were listening to me talk about Christine's reaction to her mom and how she got closer to the church. Spectrum, that's right. Rectum. It's rectum. Oh, there was no sound either. Okay. All right, so let me tell you. So Christine was raised her whole life by, obviously her family, polygamy royalty, if you will. And her mom was 100% in support of all this. Annie was. And protected and defended the faith and their marriage, and never let Christine or any of the kids see that there was any dysfunction or disagreements between her and their father. So it was a shock when she left to Christine's whole system, because she not only left dad, she left the church, and it rocked Christine's world. This is like everything that she knows and everything that she was going to go into. So Christine's reaction to this is, I am going to, is it still frozen? I can still see myself. You guys let me know if you can see me. I started telling the story. Reload your page if you're still frozen. I went out and came back in. Can you see me, Lynn Skinner? After going out and coming back in? No, you're frozen. You're good. Not frozen. Okay. Everyone's back. All right. Super. If you had to go out and come back into, it makes me think it may have been a YouTube thing, not a Spectrum thing. It could have been. Okay. So, one more time. Annie, Christine's mom, 100% hook, line, and sinker, bought into the whole AUB thing, raised Christine that way. Christine was, because she had such a loving, supporting family, and they all had so much fun, and the siblings all had such a great time, and because there's probably only 2 wives, which makes life much better than if there's 3 or 4 or more, she was so hurt by her mom leaving her dad, because her mom not only left her dad, but left the church. And this is confusing to somebody who her whole life was told by her mom, this is the way. And then the mom walks away from the way, that Christine made the choice of moving closer to the church, becoming more religious, embracing the faith even more. She moves in with her dad. She is going in hook, line, and sinker. Now, this is, to me, an aha moment, and it lines up and makes sense with the Christine that we see that worked so hard at the beginning of the season, and then in the Sister Wives book at the beginning, to convince others and herself that this is good and right and the way it should be, and everybody else should be embracing this as well. And if not, that's fine. Just accept us. This is the way. That's right. This is the way. Mandalorian. I only saw season 1, so I have to at some point go back and watch more of that. I just, to me, felt like, okay, I get it now. Because Christine is the one person the most not cut out for this faith. Like well, I shouldn't say that. Mary really seems like she's the most not cut out for this faith. But Christine would piggyback off of her pretty closely, because she didn't want to be a first wife. She didn't want to be a second wife. She knew she was jealous. She knew, like, I mean, I would be too. I'm not cut out for the faith. I get it. I completely relate to Christine 100%. And I think that 90% of women would, maybe 99% of women would. So I feel like this is what made her into that person. This divorce and her mom leaving and rocking her world to her see this loving relationship. Christine described it as like a Leave It to Beaver or Andy Griffith or something like that, that type of family, the Waltons or whatever. Like, they were the idyllic, perfect family in her eyes. Everything was great. And then her mom also denies the faith and walks away from that as well. So she couldn't make heads or tail of it. Her response is, I will dive in deeper. And I think she held on to that for a very long time afterwards. And it took her a while to start to break the shell and be like, is this the best way? I'm not so sure. So that being said, Christine cuts off Annie. She's not talking to her mom at all. Mom doesn't come to the wedding. Mom doesn't come to the reception. She's not talking to mom. When she goes to give birth to her first child, I think it was her first. I don't know. There's so many of them in there. We've gotten through, I think, all the pregnancies, but truly up to chapter 8. So I'm pretty sure it was her first child. She, with Aspen, she did not invite Annie to come. Now, her midwife had no experience, and there was it her other mom maybe was in a couple births, so kind of knew what to do. And Annie herself had been in multiple birthing situations, but Christine did not invite her to come because she was still hurt. But the day after she gave birth, there's just that biological thing, you just want your mom around. And the day after she comes, I calls Annie, and Annie comes over. And this, let me read to you, is what she said. The next day Annie showed up I wrote, the next day Annie showed up and Christine slept. And then I have a quote. You don't sleep until somebody you trust holds your baby. Does not speak volumes. Who do we not trust? Kody Brown. She had this baby and she couldn't rest. She was uneasy afterwards until her mom came. And once that baby was in her mom's arms, Christine could relax. And then she said she slept a whole bunch at that point. She hadn't slept since then. I just thought that was amazing that she came right out and said she didn't trust Kody. I wouldn't trust Kody. I mean, she knew not to trust Kody. He probably wasn't even that great with Logan, who was born before Aspen. So she probably saw how he probably didn't hold him much. She's probably like, hey, dude. Okay, somebody change his diaper. Deadbeat dad. There you go. I just thought that was amazing that she shared that. Kody's not going to be happy with that when he reads that she didn't fall asleep till the next day when her mom, who she wasn't speaking to for years, showed up. And that's who she trusted to hold the baby. Okay. All right. We are in chapter 8. Chapter 8, we get a lot more details about their lives. So this is now when they're in Wyoming, and then they go to Utah, and kind of going back and forth. And there's actually city names here. There's a lot more information than we've ever had in the past. Now, it's a little disjointed because she'd talk about something and I'd write that fact down and then something else. So at some point I'll have to put everything together in a timeline. But she did say that it was 1 year after marriage. Well, first of all, they go into the 3-bedroom double wide trailer after they're married, which is not ideal. It's not ideal to listen to anybody through thin walls when they're together. But to listen to your husband with somebody else, God, I can't even, it gives me the skivvies. Ugh, I can't. Anyway, so they were in there for a year. 1 year after their marriage in that double wide, they moved to West Jordan, Utah. Okay, I never heard West Jordan before. Then 1 year after that, they moved to Sandy, Utah. This is like the beginning of seeing all the moving around this family did. And somebody in the chat was also saying very, very common of narcissists to keep moving around different places, a lot of moving around. Okay. Or bipolar. It wasn't narcissist, bipolar. Okay, so then 1 year after that, they moved to another house. They're still in Sandy, Utah, but they moved to another house. So 3 years, 3 different homes. Here we are. Okay. By the third time they moved, they now had 4 adults and 7 children that they were moving with them. And this, I don't remember this. Kody's job originally, before he was selling signs, was in selling. Now, I remember in the book they talked about he was in logging for a short period of time. It didn't seem like he was in it for very long, but he did a logging job. But then he was in sales of religious memorabilia as well as DVDs. So I think they had to deal with, like, he took a job through the AUB, maybe, like religious DVDs that promoted the faith. So that's what he was selling to support 7 kids and 4 adults. Okay. So now we are at the point that right around now, Christine said that she was open to entertaining him having a 4th wife. Now, prior to this, they did talk about the 18-year-old girl and that not working out. Briefly, she didn't say much about it at all. But this is another person, I believe. And she said that they were open to a 4th wife, and because there was tension with Mary now, there was always tension between Janelle and Mary, but now she kind of had some tension with Mary as well, now that the kids were born, because she felt that Mary was very strict. She thought maybe a 4th wife would be a good idea, shockingly, because Christine always said she always wanted to be the 3rd and final. But she said that she was open to the idea of a 4th wife coming in, because she thought possibly just as she kind of was a buffer between Mary and Janelle when she came, that she felt like a new person might be another buffer and maybe be Mary's friend, but maybe be her friend. She felt lonely. She wasn't close with Janelle because Janelle was working all the time. And she was watching Janelle's kids, and she was close with them, but she says she didn't feel close with Janelle. And she was no longer feeling close with Mary because Mary was just too rigid in the way dishes had to be put in the thing, rigid in the way towels had to be folded, rigid in the way she would discipline the kids, and then that would make Christine upset. So she just, she wasn't getting along with anyone, and she thought a 4th wife might be a good idea. So I thought that was interesting, because I don't ever remember Christine agreeing that a 4th wife was a good idea. But she said part of the reason was it was early on in their marriage, and the kids were all very close in age and all still younger, so that a new wife and child would kind of fit in chronologically with the ages of them all. And she felt like having another wife with a job would be good for their family, because it is hard to make ends meet. And she liked the idea of a 4th wife potential. However, Kody asks Christine's grandpa for permission to add a 4th wife. And he replied, quote, "You know, Kody, I don't think you're taking care of the wives you have now," end quote. And denied. Yes, so he was told no more wives. You can't take care of these. Now, how did he know this information? Annie told her father-in-law, that would be, that they did not have very much money and they were having a hard time making ends meet. Christine was upset by this, and she went to Annie and confronted her, and Annie said, "It's true. That's why I said it." Because she said, why would you say that? And she goes, "Because it's true. He needs to take care of the wives he has. And he can't." Around this time, they end up moving to a 3-bedroom house. In terms of the bedrooms, I always thought this was the double wide, but I think this was a 3-bedroom house. 3-bedroom house had 2 bedrooms on one side, 1 bedroom on the other. This was in the Sister Wives book. The 1 bedroom by itself on the other side was like the master. It was the biggest. Mary got that bedroom. not because Mary insisted on having the bedroom, but Janelle and Christine both agreed neither one of them wanted to have a room next to her in close proximity to Mary. So they thought it was best if she was on the other side of the house. Mary makes out a lot in terms of square footage in her life when it comes to the Brown family. So, so she got the good room. Good for her for being rotten. Okay. Now, from Sandy, Utah, they end up moving back in 1998 to Wyoming. And they're on the farm at this time, the ranch. I take it back, the ranch. And they were all living together, but shortly after they were living together in the house and it wasn't really working out, Janelle ends up moving into town to be closer to her work. So I guess she took her kids with her. I think so. I think I remember reading that in the book, that she would come by and drop them off at Christine's house for Christine to watch them during the day and then go back into town. So that seemed inconvenient because town is where her job was. Anyway, I'd like to hear all the details of that. But prior to her going into town, she actually just moved out of the house and moved in with her mom on the ranch. And Christine just said that's Janelle's story to tell. So she said that there were a few times that Janelle and Kody would fight and Janelle would just leave. And she just wasn't having any of it. But she always came back, which is why Kody was convinced she was going to come back this time too. He could just be rico suave and get her to come back and talk all sweet. And it didn't work this last time. Nope. So she moved into town, and then eventually they built a house for Mary on that property. So everyone pitched in, like I think their family all built the house and made it sound like they were all helping pitch in too. So everyone kind of got their own houses. And then 2001, Gwen was born. Janelle was working full time. Christine was taking care of all the kids. And then she starts talking a little bit about holidays. I found this very interesting and funny. It's Kody's best friend. I thought Kody had a friend. I didn't even think it was a best friend. I thought Kody had a friend who was Jewish and he was jealous. So he decided to embrace all the Jewish holidays. No, it said Kody's best friend. Now, I don't know if this is Nathan or not, because Nathan, Kody says Nathan is his best friend, but I don't know if that was always the situation. But he said Kody's best friend celebrate. You think that they would say Nathan? I don't think it was Nathan. Anyway, she said Kody's best friend celebrated only the Jewish holidays because that's what Jesus celebrated. And Kody decided that's because he can't think for himself. Somebody else is doing something that looks like it's like more religious or more pious, or he's going to get more accolades for doing the sacrificial thing. So he decided to do away with Christmas because the Jewish holidays, according to his friend, are the ones that Jesus celebrated. Well, yes, Jesus did not celebrate Christmas because it was his own birth that was the remembrance of Christmas. Christmas is we celebrate. He wasn't, I mean, he probably had maybe a birthday party, just like everybody did. It wasn't a holiday for him to celebrate, but it was all about him. And the whole Bible, the whole New Testament is all about Jesus fulfilling the prophecies of the Old Testament. And so believing in him, you would think any holiday affiliated with Jesus would trump any holiday that they had in the past. But no. The logic of these two brilliant men said, well, Jesus didn't celebrate Christmas, so we shouldn't either. So let's go back and celebrate the Jewish holiday, which is perfectly fine. I think it's great celebrating all the Jewish holidays. I feel like all Christians should celebrate all the Jewish holidays. It is a part of the history of the past, but it isn't in the Christian faith. The purpose is Christianity and Jesus's birth and resurrection. So we get rid of Jesus's birth. And then later on, it goes on to say that Kody and Janelle decided to look into the origin of Easter and found that it had a lot of pagan roots. So away with Easter too. No resurrection. The crux of the Bible. The most important day, the most important theme. We're going to do away with that one too, because guess what? Jesus didn't celebrate Easter. So we're not going to either. This is the craziest logic I ever heard in my life. Did he say that on the show? I don't remember being that clear, that black, but probably because Kody was saying it. That's why. I can't even wrap my brain around it. It's hysterical. It is hysterical. Jesus didn't celebrate his resurrection before he died and resurrected. He did prophesy that it was going to happen, but yeah, no, it wasn't necessarily a celebration quite yet. No. I mean, indirectly, the Seder and Passover meal was supposed to be like a foreshadowing of what was to come, but I mean, wasn't a celebration like Christmas and Easter is. It was more of a remembrance, and it was more righteous and honorable and serious. Anyway, I just found that so funny. It made no sense. No sense whatsoever. But that sounds just like him. Somebody else tells you to do something and you're going to do it. Okay. Not very bright, is he? Says Maureen. Nope. He can't make a decision for himself. Swagger girl. Jesus was a little busy saving our souls to celebrate during his crucifixion and resurrection. He's busy. The man was busy to be having a party. Yeah. Oh, he's just being cheap. I totally believe it. Totally believe it. Yep. Okay. Let's see here. We're getting to the end. I said I wasn't going to go past an hour and a half. Here we are. Okay, they're in the house. Sandy, Wyoming. Janelle moves to town to work as an accountant for the government. Bah, bah, bah. Okay, here are the celebrations. They stopped Easter too pagan. There's pagan rituals in Christmas and Easter. If it really bothers you that the origination of, like my kids, they ran around and found Easter eggs too. I think there's some sort of pagan initiation to that theme, and something even with, I don't know if it's the Christmas tree. I mean, clearly the whole Santa Claus thing, but I think even the Christmas tree had some sort of pagan roots, but that's not what it represents to most people. So it's not like you're getting dragged down to the depths of hell by having a tree with some lights on it in your house. Anyway, in my opinion. So we could separate the two. You could say, hey, we're celebrating this. But one of the fun things we're going to do today is go looking for some colored eggs. Hey, okay. They can be mutually exclusive. All right. All right. So then there was one more wife. This is the last wife that was mentioned. This is around 2003 ish time. Christine's pregnant with Isabel. And there is this other lady who was very, very flirty with Kody. She worked with Kody. They often carpooled together to work and whatnot. And she would call him and he would talk to her long periods of time on the phone. And Christine wasn't having it. And she told Janelle and Mary, who obviously were agreeing with her, like, no, we're not doing this. I don't even know who this woman is. She's going about it all wrong. She was in the faith. Her father had 2 wives. And Christine had heard from the grapevine that the parents of this girl were very interested in having her join Kody's family. But she never reached out to them. She never talked to them, to the girls. She never talked to the OG3. And Christine one day told Mary and Janelle, next time she calls, give me the phone. I'm going to talk to her. Well, she called, and I don't know if it was Mary or Janelle, but they told Christine, okay, she called and she said, well, where's the phone? Well, Kody's talking to her. She's like, why'd you give it to Kody? She goes into the garage where Kody is with his brothers working on stuff. Even back then, he was in a garage avoiding his wives. Way back in the day. Back in Wyoming. So he's out there, and Christine walks out into the garage and she goes, is that whoever it is on the phone? He says, yes. And she goes, give it to me. And he does. She tells her, she gives her a piece of her mind, basically. You've gone about this all wrong. You should have been trying to get in good with the wives. You should have tried to befriend us. You're not even talking to us. You're going essentially behind our back and talking to our husband. He's a married man. This is wrong. And this is not happening. You will not only not marry into this family, but you will no longer carpool with Kody. All right, Christine. She's feisty when she's pregnant. So that was the end of that wife, potential wife. And that was the last one, I believe, until Robyn. Again, I'm only at like chapter 12 or something, and I think Robyn's just coming into the picture now. Oh, I did skip one thing. There's more here, but one of the things that was a complete contradiction, and we went back and listened to it again. I'm like, maybe I'm hearing it wrong. Let's listen to this again. Oh gosh, I wish I would have written down exactly where it was. But when the kids were born, she said Kody was so proud of them. Like sometimes the husband doesn't go on the birth certificate for fear of, persecution and confusion, blah, 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 blah. She said, but not in our family. Kody's on all the kids' birth certificates because he was proud to be all of their fathers. We were all like, wait, what? Didn't Christine come out and say at one point, he's on Janelle's kids' birth certificates, but not mine? Didn't that happen? It may have even been in the book, for all I know. I'm not certain. But I swear, we all were like, yes, no, we heard that somewhere. That happened. That happened. It's just confusing that she came right out and said he was on all the kids' birth certificates. Like all the kids but yours? So confusing. It's really so confusing. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. The first book, it was in the first book. Well, there you go. She has not read that book. I was saying that earlier today. It's just like the whole lightning bolt moment that Robyn explained in like 3 pages. And then she goes, wait, that's my story. As if she'd never heard Robyn ever say it before. Like, did you not read the book? Somebody should have made her read that book again before she wrote her own, or at least before hers went to print so that she could change anything. Because they did. They did. Now, Meg, somebody pointed out that they would have done that anyway, even if he was on the birth certificate, that there would have need to be a DNA test just to prove that indeed biologically he was the father, that he could claim otherwise or whatnot. So because that's what I said right away. I'm like, I know that a paternity test was ordered for him as part of this whole lawsuit. So clearly he wasn't on it, but I guess technically he could be on it. But I don't think he was on all of them. And the confusing part is that we're talking about her kids, not that she got confused that he wasn't on Janelle's kids' birth certificates. We know he was on Janelle's. Janelle went into the hospital a lot more than Christine did. Janelle had more hospital births. And so that would make sense to me. that he would be on the birth certificate because they were in the hospital and they just made it all look like it was on the up and up, I guess. He didn't want to deny after being there and calling her his wife and calling the child his own. It would be weird to not go on the birth certificate. And then I could see him just going on all of them, even if it was a home birth, because then they would all be consistent. But Christine, she didn't have hospital births. Maybe one of them she ended up in the hospital. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I don't think she kind of briefly went over all of them in the book, and I don't remember her ever mentioning going to the hospital. I know the epidural was the first one, but it may have been her first hospital birth as well. I don't know. I don't know. But it's yeah, he had to take a paternity test. Yeah. So all I can say is it does not disappoint. We have a Brown book that's just consistent with the whole series, with the last book, interviews. There's still things that don't match up, but I don't think she's trying to intentionally lie. I just think she doesn't know. I think she forgot. Just like, I don't know how you would forget the lightning bolt moment if somebody else told your story in the book that clearly they all read each other's, because that's McKelty said that's how they all did it. They wrote their stuff, they read each other's, and then they tweak their own to kind of have responses to what other people may have said if they in their own thing. So it wasn't directly in their chapter, but they could address whatever issues they knew other people were addressing that they may not have. So they all read what other people said. So she would have read about the lightning bolt thing. She forgot? How? Well, she at one point forgot whether Kody was on all of her children's birth certificates. She was either lying then or she's lying now, or she forgot then or she forgot now. I don't know, but it is a little bit maddening. It is a little bit maddening because we are not dealing with somebody whose mind has got it all together here. And I'm not one to speak. I mean, I don't have it all together here. And yet, I can tell you who's on the birth certificates of my kids. And I can tell you if there was anything anybody said about my husband ever, I probably remember all of them and could probably say what it is verbatim. Certainly, if they were to publish it in a book and it was like a 3-page story, it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me the stuff this woman forgets. Cannot. It's just insane. DJ tag. Oh, wait. Oh, here's Shannon Banana. Little Miss is a new member today. Thank you, Little Miss, for joining our group. And DJ tag, thank you for being you. You're so sweet. Thank you very much for the super chat. Whoops. I lost my comments there for a second. Okay. So let me come back now. I had forgotten about that earlier. Okay. We covered that. Then a lot of this is just chronological stuff, but I wrote it down just because we don't have a lot of these dates. That other book, who knows what's happening where. So Christine was pregnant with Isabel in 2003 when this other woman wanted to join. That didn't work out. Then in 2004, Savannah was born. They're still in Wyoming, she said at this time. All right. This is the time. I jumped ahead. I added this in before. This is the time in 2001. Well, I guess that goes back in time. Anyway, in 2001, Janelle moved in with her mom after a fight when they were in Wyoming. Okay. And then we are now moving into, I've written here, they are 5 years in Wyoming and Kody gets a job in Utah. Janelle was in her own home in town in Wyoming at the time when he got the job in Utah. I want to say that might be the next chapter because that's all I wrote about it here. And there's a lot of information just about, again, where they're moving. And next week, people, prepare yourselves. Next week, we are covering why McKelty is so upset with Mary and why Christine is so upset with Mary. I kept saying, what happened that was so horrific that 15, 20 years later, we are still dealing with ramifications, and Mary is not permitted to be in the presence of anyone's kids or talk to anybody or be included in any family functions. What did she do that was just so tragic? Christine addresses it. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to have to turn in next Tuesday, and we're going to talk about it because I want your opinion. Because I have an opinion, but I want your opinion. We're going to have to do another poll. Speaking of which, let me take a look at our poll. We are at... Oh, no, I don't want to end the poll. Did Kody and Robyn remain pure until their marriage? 98% of the people say no. I saw that coming. I don't think so either. But 2% of you, 2% of you, Robyn, thank you for joining us. And Kody, no. I could see maybe one or two of you going, oh, I believe her. She can be convincing. I don't believe her, though. I do not believe her. All right, that is crazy. Craziness. Oh, another super chat. That's a Rain Lady. It's not showing up. Let's make it show up. There we go. No, that's still not showing up. But what's that say? I saw a comment from. Oh no, that was from before. My chat is behind. Oh goodness. All right, we're going to do it this way. There we go. Come on. Come on. It will not show up on my screen. Shanna. All right, we have Carrie T. Carita. New member, thank you for joining. And Rain Lady, thank you for your super chat. There we go. It's all working again. Back on track, people, back on track. All right, so we will do, I don't know how many chapters, but, about another third of the book, about an equal amount, maybe. I mean, if it starts getting really juicy, we're not going to be able to do as much next week. But the plan is right now to do the second third of the book next week, and then the final week, the third of the book. And I'll be reading it on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. for the exclusive SOS level, because I don't want to put it out to 25,000 people, because Christine's trying to sell books right now. So we only have, between 50 and 60 people in our SOS exclusive group on Sunday nights. I feel like that's okay. I hope so. Anyway, that's my interpretation of it. All right. This was a good time. I think, based on what she said so far and the fact that he's terrible in bed, we got some good deets, and she's sharing stuff that I was hoping that she would share. Now, if we can get into finances, I'll be giddy. I'll be orgasming. All right, I gotta go. I'm slap happy and tired. Thank you all for being here. Tomorrow night, I'll see all of you on the other channel, Reality TV Breakdown. If you want to listen to more of the book written about Meghan and Harry by an unauthorized but well-researched biographer, Tom Bauer. And that'll be on the other channel. Take care, everybody. Love you, sister friends. Goodbye.
I remember when Sonny and Cher got divorced when I was 6, and it rattled me.
I had a lover in college, and it was a little tryst. I was a naughty boy. I had a dirty thought, and I thought David and I should go on a guys trip together.
I might have to agree. That would be cool.
I just thought, no.
David out on a guy's weekend.
Yeah, that's just would be cool.
Oh, he was kind of up for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Things that make you go,